I just wanna know your name, and maybe sometime we can hook up, hang out, just chill. Is this recording? I knew. Just want to show you I still got it. So I went to Korea. That was cool. My friends, this isn't a podcast because this week we actually don't have any ads, which means I get to create freely and do whatever I want. And like I said before, I went to Korea, so let's talk about something special about Korea. And we're talking about the bakeries and the what the fuck is this? You know, whenever someone travels somewhere, and specifically me in my DMs, I usually get inundated with a lot of the same questions. Where should I go? What should I eat? What's the hottest things to do out there?
Are the bitches hot?
Doesn't matter to me. I'm married now, so tell you something, ladies, if I was single, you'd be rejecting me right now. And look, to be honest with you, if I knew, I would let you know, but I don't know shit because number one, I don't live in South Korea, and number two, I just don't know. See, I get all of my information just like everybody else does. We usually get it from the same blog sites, the same Instagram posts, and the same popular shit that everybody else goes to. And most people, when they repost this content, they aren't actually there to experience it. Most people are trying to do it for content. And once again, that's not a critique. That's absolutely fine. But they'll repost the stuff and they'll be like, oh my God, this is a new place that I found. Bitch, you did not find it. 5 best places to eat in South Korea. 5 best cafes in South Korea. 5 best places you have to go in South Korea. I don't know why I'm doing this. This is... And let's just be real for a second. You know, if I'm going to a country for 7 or 8 days, how would I know what the 5 best anything is? And that doesn't just go for me, that goes for other people who are on this space as well. And we kind of just say those things because it's, you guessed it, for content. And just to give you a good example of this, I live in Los Angeles, and a lot of people would say in the United States, there are a few big cities that are like the mecca for food and sightseeing and things to do, and Los Angeles would be one of them. So when somebody comes visit here, whether it's friends or even fans, they go, if I only have like a week to be here, what are 10 restaurants I have to go to? That's so fucking hard to say. People who live in these cities don't even know what the 5 best anything is. We just know the places that we like. Having said all that, in my personal opinion, if you do go to South Korea, make sure you go to as many bakeries and cafes as possible. South Korea's baked good game is absolutely unreal. So I'm gonna let you know 3 bakeries that you should try if you're in South Korea based on the places that I've been to. For those of you out there who haven't been to South Korea, Korea is very much about hot trends. And that doesn't just come with like fashion and clothing, it also stems out to food. And right now, in terms of the bakery game, bagels are the hottest thing. The thing I love about Korean bakeries, or just like Korean/Americanized foods that they make, they kind of take the rule set that they have for the dish and they break some of the rules in terms of what the flavors are supposed to be like. They adapt it to the Korean palate, which in my opinion makes it super exciting, very fun, and in certain cases, better than the stuff that I'm used to. So let's talk about the bagel spot that number 1 popped off on Instagram that everybody was talking about. We're talking about London Bagel. Now, walking into London Bagel, there are so many different options, and the place is very, very cute. As you will notice when you go to South Korea, everything is about design, look, and presentation. And listen, when I travel to a place, I don't try 1 or 2 things. I try everything. I'm talking about the pepper truffle bagel, the potato cheese, the bacon jam, and one of my personal favorites was a sesame bagel with a huge slab of butter and sliced ham. And let me tell you something, my friends, very French. And by the way, if you are going to get the bagels, you should definitely get yourself some tomato soup to dunk it in because that just completes the whole meal. Now, would I say that this is the best bagel I've ever had? No, absolutely not. There are places in New York, and I would say in the United States, that I personally like better. But once again, that's just my opinion. But if you do want to try something different, I would say come to London Bagel, get a bunch of stuff, try a little bit of everything, and you won't be disappointed. If you're not going to London Bagel, another very popular spot in South Korea is this place called Kokiri Bagel, which means elephant bagel. And they cook their bagels with fire, I believe. So give that a go. Now, the second hottest thing that we absolutely had to get was Sogeumppang, which is salt bread. Now, this was already kind of a hit the year before that, but since then, they've done such a better job in the multiple renditions of the Sogeumppang that I've had in so many different places that this is something that you definitely have to try. And no, they're not like the ones in Japan. Now, the place that we liked the Sogeumppang the best was actually, funny enough, right around the corner from the London Bagel Museum. And the only reason why we stopped by was simply because it smelled so damn good. It just smelled like toasted butter. We stopped by and we wafted towards that place. I don't even use that word. I said this. I'm talking about salty, buttery, flaky with a croissant-like crust. And you know when you have these food experiences where you bite into it and you just go, this is going to be my standard for what this item should be for the rest of my life. And that's what this place did. And by the way, this place was so good, we actually went 2 or 3 times. And you know, when we're traveling and we have limited time, it's very rare that we go to a restaurant twice because we want to try other things. But because of the spiritual experience I had, we had to go back. And let me tell you something. Every time it was just as good as the first bite. Now, the third place that I think you should try, but it might be very, very difficult for you to actually get your hands on this, is a place that had a coffee cream stuffed croissant. And let me tell you something. That was my dog. Shut up. I'm talking about this croissant. Now, just like I said about the Sogeumppang, at the level that I spoke about that, I said it was spiritual. This thing here was spiritual times 10. I was in another universe. That's how good this was. Now, the reason why I said it might be very hard for you to get your hands on this is that, number one, they only make 60 a day. Second, you have to call the store ahead of time and reserve your spot to grab one. And pro tip, by the way, if you are going to get more than one for multiple people, you can't. For however many croissants that you're going to get, that's how many people have to show up to grab the croissant. Now, I want to describe how good this fucking croissant is, but instead of that, I actually recorded our reaction to biting into it. Now, mind you, Mariel was tired as shit. She was exhausted. She knew that I was sick. She went all the way over there, which was like, it took her an hour to get there just to get this. She was saying to herself, like, this better be worth it because I am so sick and exhausted from trying to get this damn croissant. So, to put in perspective, let me show you what our reaction was. Was it worth the kozeng?
Oh shit, that's good.
It's hella good.
Oh shit.
So, when you guys, I mean, you guys have to make reservations here to get it. I don't know how you're going to do it if you're not Korean or don't have a Korean number, but they only make 60 a day. It was booked out a month in advance, and we luckily got a spot somehow.
Wow.
What do you think? Is it worth it?
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Okay.
I died, but damn, that's good. Well.
Oh my god. Look at this beautiful crescent moon croissant. And right at the bottom is where they put this. Is it like a coffee cream? What is it?
I don't know.
It's ridiculous, but let me just show you real quick, guys. Once again, if you could hear the crack. I mean, this is, you know, when I say baked goods in Korea are next level, this is what I mean. And I love the baked goods in Japan as well, but I feel like Korean people like the rock stars of a lot of these baked goods. Excuse the fact that I'm shirtless. I said that I was sick earlier, so. This is the best croissant I've ever had in my life. There's nothing else to say. What's the best thing you could say about Asian baked goods? Not too sweet. The cream is ridiculously decadent, but it's loose, it's not too tight. The exterior crust is so crunchy. And by the way, she brought this over after an hour cab drive in. Yeah, I have nothing else to say. If you are fortunate enough to eat this, this is one of those things that's internet hype is completely worth it. Wow. Good. So those are the top 3 things that I think you should try if you're going to go for the bakeries. And by the way, I know there are traditional foods out there that you're definitely going to eat, but don't skip on the baked goods. Now, I've been to Japan multiple times. I've been to Korea multiple times. I love Japan's baked goods, and I obviously haven't had everything over there. But every time I went to Korea, the baked good experience that I've got seems to be better in Korea for my palate, right? Japan has this thing, and I wonder if you guys agree, where they kind of took Parisian technique to their bakeries, and they experimented a little bit when they first tried, but there hasn't been too much deviations from a lot of the stuff that I've seen. Korea tends to be a little bit more rock star with it. They don't care. They tend to break a lot more rules. And so because of that, we have a lot more exciting things to try a lot faster. Not to say that Japan doesn't. And once again, this is just my opinion. So I'm actually curious for those people out there who have been to Japan and Korea, what do you think is better? Now, before we end this video with the recommendations that I have, I do want to say something. For those of you out there that only depend on blogs or Instagrammers or quote-unquote foodies to suggest places for you to go to, that's a great way to start. But the exciting part about traveling is that once again, you just don't know what you're going to get into. If you look at a place and you see other spots where people are going into and it looks like it's going to taste good, most likely it's going to be pretty good. Don't be afraid to explore. Right? I know you have a limited time and you have a limited stomach space, but that's the great thing about going to a place like Korea or Japan. Most of the food's going to be pretty decent, right? So don't get caught up into a lot of hype. And I'll give you a great example. When I went to Japan, one of the things I really wanted to try was that gigantic seafood bowl with a bunch of just like sashimi and fish roe. And there was a very specific restaurant that everybody went to. The line was packed. Well, guess what? Because we don't live there, we actually don't know. There's like 13 or 20 of those restaurants right around the fucking corner. And if you ask the local friends, and Mario lived in Japan and we have friends in Japan, they're like, they all kind of taste amazing and they're all pretty good. That spot is just specifically popular because it blew up on Instagram. And this is what you're missing out on. Don't be afraid to try new things. Go out there and just explore. There are a lot of people out there that will say they know the best this and that, but there's no way they can because they don't live in the country. And even those people who live in Los Angeles, like such as myself, I don't know what the best stuff is here. It's impossible. There's new restaurants popping up left and right. And when you go to huge metropolitan cities, once again, like South Korea and Japan, there's just too much for you to explore. So go there with an open mind and an open stomach and enjoy your ass off. For those of you out there who have been to Korea, please write in the comments below what your favorite spots are in terms of bakery and baked goods, because I would absolutely love to know. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you all next time. What was the phrase I used to say? Life is always what you make it, but it's up to you to get what you deserve. See y'all next time. Peace.